In the autumn of 1347, a mysterious disease entered Europe and started killing millions. That disease was the bubonic plague, better known as the Black Death. The Black Death is a zoonotic disease, or a disease transmitted through animals. The bacterium that causes the disease is called the Yersinia pestis, and the creatures that transmit the disease are rodents, more specifically, rats. However, the transfer of the disease is not caused by the rats themselves, but the fleas they carry. The Xenophila chiopis, also known as rat fleas, are the reason the disease was spread so quickly. The fleas feed on the infected blood of the rats. When the fleas are done feeding on the rats, they move on to humans. The fleas transfer the bacterium from the rats to the humans, thus infecting them. It was thought that the rats traveled on boats through the trade route. These boats were later referred to as death ships. The Black Death originated in Asia, but in 1347 it reached Europe and continued its deadly spread. This plague greatly affected Eurasia and created many conflicts in the 1300s. In the next half-decade, this disease would end up killing over a third of Europe's population. However, the death count itself isn't the biggest conflict to come from it. Unfortunately, due to the rapid spread and contagiousness of the disease, if a member of a family was infected, the other members would normally abandon that member in fears of being infected themselves. Hospitals during the time were crude buildings, ineffective to help cure the plague, and better explained as a place to go and die. The doctors at these hospitals were baffled about the cause and spread of the disease. It was a mystery. The more religious side believed it was God's wrath, and the only way to cure yourself was to earn the love of God. However, many Christians believed that it was the Jews poisoning water supplies. This rumor led to the persecution of thousands of Jews, by fire, torture, and many other forms. On record, it is hard to tell whether more Jews died from the plague or the persecution because of it. Most peasants during the 1300s were farmers, and with the plague killing many of these peasants, it made it difficult to get the needed food. Thus, famine began, and with persecution and the plague, it killed dozens. It did not kill as many as the plague or persecution, but it did kill a significant amount. One of the biggest issues, however, was the massive body count at such an alarming rate. Mass graves had to be created, and all of them quickly filled with the dead. The burials were very informal due to the amount of people, and the most common mass burial was to layer the corpses with dirt. As described by Giovanni Boccaccio in his book The Decameron, just as one makes lasagna with layers of pasta and cheese. As the years pass, the Black Death slowly stops its deadly spread due to the cold winters stifling the disease and the acts of quarantine the people had to make. The plague was never truly eradicated, but has slowed down. Though it took much, the Black Death didn't just destroy, it created as well. These creations include the start of the perfume industry, the birth of the middle class, and has made more people less susceptible to the disease. As the plague killed, it produced a horrible stench from the rotten flesh. This caused people to believe that it was the smell that caused the disease. So, in response to this, people doused themselves in perfume and carried flowers as a hope to not be infected. This, of course, was ineffective, and people continued to die. Before the plague, Europe lived under feudalism, the social system in which monarchs gave military protection for goods and services from peasants. However, after the plague hit, so many peasants died that there weren't enough people for feudalism to work. Thus, feudalism had to fall, and a middle class had to be born, in which peasants could gain profits from their goods, and made it simpler to make a living. Though many died of the Black Death, the few survivors greatly helped their descendants better survive the plague in the future. The body's immune system eventually realizes that the plague is harmful, so the genes modify themselves for future generations to survive. The Black Death did have positive outcomes, but in the conclusion of it all, it was a brutal and deadly time, causing many conflicts and killing millions of unfortunate souls.